back here tomorrow.
I'm just saying, if I were a good NFL head coach, if I were a hot offensive coordinator, and that coaching cycle's going to come around, and they're like, hey, do you want the Giants job? Or do you want the Michigan job? I think the Michigan job is much better.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
They're doing a new show about a Japanese interpreter.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, they're doing I don't know if it's a documentary or actors are in it.
It's got a.
I think it's a drama.
It's a real show.
It's like a scripted show?
Yeah.
About a Japanese interpreter?
Yes.
I wonder who's getting paid for that.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
You ain't buying no tickets.
Who isn't?
You're not going to these
I'm a
games.
fan. Of course I'm not. There's a fan. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, but if you were a fan, I thought you were a fan of the Hurricanes. You're not
They told me. I
smashed
told them
you.
to donate my tickets.
Yeah, so I get it. But the fans travel. They have money, believe it or not. It's amazing.
Look, in this economy,
but they have money. I don't know. See what Kelsey says about the economy.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
Look, the trend continues to go to Blake Corum. He's still available. I can't believe he's still available. So if you have Kyron Williams, you got to have Blake Corum on your roster. And if you don't have Kyron Williams, I think you still want Blake Corum on your roster. You got to have these insurance policies on your roster at the very least. Even in a shallow league, if Blake Corum's floating out there, don't let him float out there. The last thing you want to have happen is for him to end up on some other team and then taking you the next couple weeks to win a championship.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on Sport.
Decisions. We are live on SportsGrid. Happy to have you on this Monday night. Are you 0-1 to start the day? You better believe it. Shout out Utah State as they let themselves get down quite a hole to Washington State in the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. I tell you this, bowl season is off to a snore early. We'll see if it picks up tomorrow with 3 games. Where everyone will be looking tonight is, of course, for football, but in the pro game, as we have the Colts and the Niners in actually an important one. And I have been talking about this quite a lot, and I will not stop that the San Francisco 49ers control their own destiny to be the number 1 seed in the NFC. The Niners tonight are in Indianapolis. They are going to settle in looking like a 4.5-point favorite here on the road against Phillip Rivers and the Colts. And then they play in the final 2 weeks of the NFL season, at the moment, 1 and 2 seed in the conference. They'll host the Bears for a Sunday nighter. And if everything holds, I think they'll be the Week 18 Sunday night game. There's a number of options the league will have for themselves. But the Niners and the Seahawks Week 18 with the number 1 seed on the line, it's probably going to be hard to beat. There's, I guess, some NFC South juice out there. Broncos Chargers could be out there. Lions Bears probably fell off with Detroit losing to Pittsburgh, all in all. But this is going to be a really fun game tonight. It features 2 of the most prolific running backs in the National Football League. Whenever either one of these teams plays, people are looking to back these guys within the props market, whether that be CMC or Jonathan Taylor. I do believe, though, when you get prolific players at the same position within the same game on opposing teams, the eye is drawn to potentially McCaffrey props and potentially to Jonathan Taylor props. I am involved with both of these guys here tonight on the card. And just kind of looking around, so are the guys in the back. So we're going to put these best bets on the board here and get everybody locked in. There's a little primetime producer parlay as well, a little 1-2 step that we'll put on the board for everybody here tonight. But certainly a big game for the Niners. Colts technically not out of it. With a loss tonight, though, we're pretty much done here. The Colts then after this will play Jacksonville, we'll play Houston. We kind of know the score, right? We kind of know the story as it pertains to Indianapolis. Maybe they pull off a stunner tonight. I don't think so. Maybe, right? But that's just kind of where we settle in. Now, for the NFL, there's a lot of fallout from what was this Sunday. And there is the fact that the Detroit Lions absolutely collapsed as far as just the season goes. Detroit still isn't eliminated from making the postseason, but this team, I mean, it felt like they were really going to put a scare and maybe steal this division. Who knows, right? With a little bit of help down the stretch. They lose 2 in a row. First time in a long time. And that second loss is at home as a touchdown favorite against the Pittsburgh Steelers. That win for Pittsburgh, by the odds, feels like it locks up the AFC North. The Steelers need to beat the Browns next week. Yes, in Cleveland. Yes, against Myles Garrett, chasing the sack record. But that's what's on the board for the Cleveland Browns-Pittsburgh Steelers game. Ravens lose Sunday night, making matters worse as Green Bay, or as Baltimore goes to Green Bay on Saturday needing a victory. So it's a lot, people. It's a lot. And it's moved these markets. And then there's market movement that doesn't just pertain to the playoffs, right? It pertains to believing in teams. Seahawks make a statement on Thursday night. We know that, beating the LA Rams. Jaguars make a statement on Sunday, beating the Denver Broncos. They open up their path to a number 1 seed. How about the Chargers all of a sudden now control their own destiny? How about that? Control their own destiny to catch Denver and win the AFC West. Texans were on upset watch by the 14.5-point underdog Vegas Raiders. It was a busy Sunday. We'll talk all about it. We'll set you up for everything here on this Monday night. The college football playoff, just by the way, don't want to skip over it. The college football playoff, of course, was this past weekend. You did have, you had not a great Saturday. Not a great Saturday. When the championing game of your opening round is, or at least on Saturday, a 10-3 football game, not great. Not great. Format's got to change. Everybody knows it. To offer up a little olive branch to the G5 folks who have been playing defense for their teams that couldn't play any defense. It's not just a G5 thing. It's an auto bid thing. The idea that Duke should have been in there, who lost to Tulane, and UConn, by the way, is madness. We didn't need Duke. We didn't need the Dukes. We didn't need the Green Wave. We also probably didn't need Miami or Oklahoma or Alabama. We probably would have been better off with Arch Manning, Diego Pavia, and, I don't know, Jeremiah Love. But, hey, call me crazy. I thought they were going to try and put the 12 best teams in it. Instead, we just get whatever that was. Whatever that. All right, round 2. We'll give it another try, huh? Round 2, we'll give it another try. Where else are people going to look to put some juice on the board? In the college game, plenty of ranked teams in action tonight, but not a great slate overall. We had some really fun games over the weekend in the college basketball side. Duke upset by Texas Tech. Kentucky gets a big one against St. John's. Arizona continues to roll. Houston with a little bit of a statement against Arkansas. But tonight, it's ranked versus unranked. The shiny games would be Illinois, Missouri. Mizzou's off to a good start. 10-2 Mizzou group playing against Illinois. But they're a decent dog in this game. College basketball is going to be on break for a little bit. We know that. They take their winter break. So things will really ramp up in the new year. But that's where we are involved with a college basketball game, though. 8 o'clock tip. Ranked team. We're going to get in the mix there. You know what? Let's put that on the board. Let's put it on the board for the early comers here. Kansas-Davidson over the 138.5. This number's a little bit on the climb, so don't be scared to get in now. We just saw the Jayhawks get a really nice, dominant win against Townsend. and we're seeing a repeat number. Townsend's even slower than Davidson. They're not as good offensively as Davidson. 19 of the 49 that Townsend scored came from one guy in that game. This is a spot where I think Kansas scores it at a better rate. I think Davidson scores it much better than Townsend did. I think this game actually could get into like the 150s. Whether that be a Davidson scare or a Kansas route, I really like the over 138.5 in Kansas and Davidson. NBA-wise tonight, it's all right. It's all right, okay? The NBA schedule, if we're going to call it like we see it, lackadaisical is what I would say. The fact that the Thunder and the Spurs play Christmas in what's become the marquee game and then also tomorrow, what is that? Like, again, second leg of a back-to-back, I don't know. The Thunder might just roll out their G League team exclusive just to play on Tuesday. I actually need the Thunder to win tonight, by the way. Remember the whole will they lose consecutive games? They lost again to Minnesota. When I placed that bet, we were like, hey, are you going to hedge? I said, maybe. We'll see. They're minus 1,100 to win the game tonight. John Morant, not a real NBA player, out for the Grizzlies. We're involved in that game, though. We got a prop that we really like. That's a 9:30 tip on Peacock. So we'll put that on the board as well. Mavs, Pels, but Cooper Flag, by the way, on the injury report, may not make it. Jokic and the Nuggets play in a total against the Jazz, 251.5, which is a little outrageous. We'll talk more NFL. Phillip Rivers versus Brock Purdy next.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all 3 Circus Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
They went all in with the Sauce Gardner trade, right? All in. Give you a couple of number 1 picks here. Then Daniel Jones breaks the leg, and then he tears the Achilles. All right, you're signing Phillip Rivers. Are you kidding me? I mean, by the way, you know what hasn't been talked about enough? Sam Ellinger decided he didn't want to come play for the Colts. Why? You would have been. I know Denver activated him to the roster anyway, but he would have been maybe the starting quarterback this weekend.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Michael Jordan retired at the age of 30 in 1993. He missed the 93-94 season. Furthermore, he came back for 17 games in 1995 when he gave up baseball. And when I mean gave up baseball, he gave up baseball on March 18th and came back to basketball March 19th, which means no ramp up, no training camp, no nothing.
Pro Basketball Today, only on SportsGrid.
If I told you 25 years ago that you could bet $1,000 on whether or not the Miami Dolphins would go 25 years without a playoff win, that probably would have returned 10 mil, if not more.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you could do that on Kalshi right now or on Polymarket right now and pick any team you want.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Game Time Decisions live on SportsGrid on a Monday night. We're joined by our guy, Tom Vecchio. Always great to get Tom in here on Game Time Decisions. Tom, I just want to start with this. We got a number of different places we could go. What are you on tonight? You don't have to, I know you may only be on the NFL, but if you got any ice anywhere else, let me know. What are you betting here on a Monday night?
Just 2 bets for the NFL game. That's it. No other action anywhere. George Kittle over 64.5 receiving yards. like the matchup for him, Ricky Pearsall, and then looking to the first half under 23.5 minus 125 in this game. That's it. That's where I'm at. We see the Colts in the bottom 10 of the league, 8th most receiving yards allowed specifically to tight ends. Like the spot for Kittle and the offense.
Yeah, I think the Niners will continue to move the football here. I think there's a chance that this number's not going to drop enough where I feel it's necessary to bet San Fran, but it's getting there. It is. Like, we're seeing the Colts caught 13.5 from Seattle and got up to 14 because I played the Colts at 14 against Seattle. Now, I understand there's a home field advantage flip here, but I don't think what you're seeing is a disparity that the books believe exists from San Fran and Seattle. I think what you're seeing is them be like, oh, Phillip Rivers might be all right. I don't know about that. I mean, Phillip Rivers didn't really do much of anything in that game. Probably the most overvalued 120-yard performance in NFL history is what Phillip Rivers really gave us against Seattle here. Tom, am a little more focused tonight on these superstar running backs, which I think we're going to see a lot of people be really focused on. Let me just start with the kind of the surface level. Do you have strong feelings either direction on one of these superstar backs, Jonathan Taylor, Christian McCaffrey?
Not really. They both should be in for big games. If we saw, I would say that they both should be in line for a minimum of 80 or 90 combined yards. Like no fewer than 90 combined yards from either of them. That's what I think is just going to be on the table. We didn't see we didn't see Seattle last week run the ball particularly well, but those running backs aren't Christian McCaffrey. And we saw Jonathan Taylor, and he's just going to get there because his prop is 22.5 attempts or 23 attempts. He's going to get there based on the fact that they're just feeding him the ball and they don't want Phil Rivers dropping back 35 times. So both should be in for a huge game, really.
Yeah, I am going to play, and we'll put some best bets on the board with our guy Tom Vecchio here. I'm playing both of them. If you want me to single it out, I'll single out the Jonathan Taylor side. I'm playing Jonathan Taylor over 19.5 receiving yards. I'm playing Christian McCaffrey over 39.5 receiving yards. And again, the head-to-head nature of it, I think, is maybe a little bit of a boost. But the Taylor element, he had 3 catches last week on 4 targets for 14 yards against Seattle. Typically more explosive than that as in terms of how he was. We've seen San Fran give up some pass game work to running backs there. And Phillip Rivers is a check-down guy. So I think Jonathan Taylor, they're going to continue to get him the football in creative ways. Also, they were able to stay in a pretty neutral game script against Seattle. If that doesn't happen tonight, this could actually be a 6, 7, 8 catch game all of a sudden out of nowhere for Jonathan Taylor. McCaffrey is in a clear and obvious bounce back spot in the receiving game. He had 1 catch. There is one other game this year where he didn't catch 4 balls and only 2 other games where he didn't catch at least 5. He had 14 yards. McCaffrey needs 180 yards to get to a 1,000-yard season. 3 games, 60 a game. Now, he's done it before, and it doesn't look like he's going to win Offensive Player of the Year. But they do play Week 18 against Seattle, which is where the favorite JSN is playing. Just something to keep in mind. So I like both these backs over their receiving yards. Chris bet a very simple, straightforward CMC touchdown, Niners money line plus price. I think Tom will like that. And then Sam played the McCaffrey 100 rush receiving. So, again, all kind of similar outlooks here tonight, Tom.
Yeah, I would say largely on board with these bets. The Taylor one's super interesting just because you said, as long as they're in a neutral game script, he could see it in multiple. Yeah, well, I would say if they're in a neutral game script, they're going to see Phil Rivers low A-dot passes. That plays right into Taylor. And if they fall behind and they're down by 2 scores, which is not what the Colts want to do, well, then they have to pass the ball. And those low A-dot passes to Jonathan Taylor will be there again. The CMC usage not only should increase because of the matchup, but also, again, Ricky Pearsall's not there. It's a really weird wide receiver room for San Francisco. In 2 wide receiver sets, when we see Juwan Jennings out there, that's great, but do we really trust someone like Kendrick Bourne to be out there a whole ton? Probably not. That we know that they like to get Kittle involved. Jake Tonjes, their backup tight end, but it really just should be going to CMC when it's all said and done.
Yeah, I think this is more of a McCaffrey spot than last week against Tennessee was. We've talked about it here on the show a little bit. Tennessee is more of a pass funnel. That run defense has really stepped up since the return of Jeff Simmons, and we saw last week Purdy take advantage of Tennessee. I think you could see it profiles as a McCaffrey game. Is what I would say. Can I ask you this question about the Niners, Tom? They're home here tonight. It sounds like you think they win. Not your favorite spot, but you would expect them to win the game. They'll host Chicago and then host Seattle. I've talked about it a lot. Just kind of, how do you feel about the world where the Niners win out and are the number one seed in the conference?
I think that there's a ton of value on them because of that. And, I don't want to say that, next week is a potential letdown spot for the Bears, but coming off this huge emotional comeback win against your biggest rival and your spot is clinched, obviously the specific seeding of the Bears is not clinched. I could see that being a bit of a letdown spot for the Bears. Also, they still aren't at full, or they weren't at full health. Will they be at full health with Luther Burden and Roma Dunze? That is yet to be determined. But frankly, I would take the coaching and the home field advantage from San Francisco. And okay, they win that game. And then the Seattle game is where it really come down to. That I think would be the biggest thing. But, we can see them beat Seattle in a spot where Sam Darnold is prone to fail on the road, especially against teams he's been on. And they know what they're going to bring from him.
And just to add a little nugget, everybody know where the Super Bowl is this year? Niners may be playing their last road game of the season tonight. We'll be right back with Tom Vecchio.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all three Circa Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
They went all in with the Sauce Gardner trade, right? All in. Give you a couple of number one picks here. Then Daniel Jones breaks the leg, and then he tears the Achilles. All right, you're signing Phillip Rivers. Are you kidding me? I mean, by the way, you know what hasn't been talked about enough? Sam Ehlinger decided he didn't want to come play for the Colts. Why? You would have been. I know Denver activated him to the roster anyway, but he would have been maybe the starting quarterback this weekend.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Michael Jordan retired at the age of 30 in 1993. He missed the 93-94 season. Furthermore, he came back for 17 games in 1995 when he gave up baseball. And when I mean gave up baseball, he gave up baseball on March 18th and came back to basketball March 19th, which means no ramp up, no training camp, no nothing.
Pro Basketball Today, only on SportsGrid.
If I told you 25 years ago that you could bet $1,000 on whether or not the Miami Dolphins would go 25 years without a playoff win, that probably would have returned 10 mil, if not more.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you could do that on Kalshi right now or on Polymarket right now and pick any team you want.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Little call to action. If anybody out there can find a combined receiving prop, yards, receptions for McCaffrey and Taylor, give me a holler. All right? That'd be great. I've looked around, and what were they? In my usual haunts, I'm not seeing it. I don't even know really where to. I thought maybe DK would hook it up.
I'm
not
looking
seeing
at the
it,
game
Tom.
specials. Yeah, I'm looking at the game specials on FanDuel, and there's there's a CMC and Kittle combined, Kittle and Warren combined. What are you looking for? Because this just comes down to just doing it and SGPing it yourself.
Well, sure. Right, but I'd love those guys to combine for 100, and it's just whoever goes kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Very fair, very fair. Like you just want the odds. You just want the marker to be at 100, 99 from one and 1 from the other, and you're there.
Yep. I'd be thrilled with that outcome. That would work. That would work just fine. So, Tom, I want to talk to you. Just we had a lot of different results that were eye popping. But I think Jacksonville's in Denver is probably the most eye-popping. And I know you're not a Broncos guy. But in my opinion, that game is not about, Bo Nix and the Broncos are frauds. Because their defense got abused, and nobody actually thinks that defense is anything other than excellent. So I just feel like Jacksonville made a real name for themselves and validated how the last month has been going.
Right.
And I think they right now have a case. I'm not making the case, but I think they have one as the best team in the AFC.
Yeah, I wouldn't say the best team in the AFC, but definitely surprising. And, going into that game, my prevailing sentiment was like, okay, you play the Jets, you play the Colts, you play the Saints, like you're beating up on all these bad teams. Congrats to Trevor Lawrence and the offense, but, it's not the highest quality opponent. So it didn't impress me, but, they showed up on the biggest stage. They showed up against one of the best defenses in the league on the road, no less. And then they did so really in a convincing manner. And especially just the way the offense moved, the way it looked, getting the ball to different players. They weren't just locked in on one player. They went after different defenders, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm on board with saying that Jacksonville has been undervalued to this point. The issue for me becomes we don't have enough big moment success from Trevor Lawrence. Now, he did win that playoff game a couple years ago when the Chargers absolutely collapsed. But that's a bit of a different story. Is that, the Chargers losing that game or the Jags winning? So there's not enough postseason pedigree for me to buy into the Jags as being the best team at this point.
The only thing, though, Tom, is if you're hunting for postseason pedigree in the AFC, you then have to your only option is to be a Buffalo guy, unless you're a Pittsburgh guy.
Or it's to be none. And I think the winner's coming out of the NFC, so therefore I don't care who comes out of the AFC.
All right. I actually, it's funny. I haven't looked, and I'm sure it's out there. I'll try and pull it up. Like a Super Bowl special by conference kind of situation. I'm sure that's out there somewhere.
Absolutely.
But
that's a good question.
I mean, we're going to still be looking through the AFC, Tom. I mean, at the end of the day, the Super Bowl is going to be between an AFC team and an NFC team, right?
It's true.
So, one of these teams is going to emerge, and I mean, Denver hadn't lost at home all year, and they got dominated in that game. I mean, they just did. Yeah. They were absolutely dominated by Jacksonville. I just thought it was incredibly impressive, and I think it puts Denver in a really difficult spot. I think the problem is someone has to be booked as a favorite, but this is a Denver team that now forget the 1 seed. They don't control their own. Well, they control their own destiny. I shouldn't say that, but the Chargers beat this team week 18. We all of a sudden might see the Broncos as a wild card team.
Right. The same thing that happened in the NFC with the Rams losing on Thursday is kind of mirroring itself in the AFC, where it's like, we have this team that's at the top, but as soon as they lose, it's like they're not just going to go from the 1. It's like they may drop into a wild card spot, which is obviously vastly different. We saw the Broncos struggle mightily against the Bills last season or last postseason, I should say. There's just so much up in the air in both conferences that actually presents us with not a ton of value because so many teams are grouped so close together, but the level of excitement that we get from game to game is at the highest it's ever been.
Yeah, it's been this really, really fun season. It's going to be really interesting as we continue to try and figure this play out. I think it'll also be just nice to speak so glowingly about the NFL until we get to Thursday, where everybody is going to be like, oh, man, I hope JY appears on PFT so we can break down Thunder Spurs and not more Josh Johnson. Great stuff from Tom Vecchio. JY is next here on Game Time Decisions.
football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all three Circa Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
They went all in with the Sauce Gardner trade, right? All in. Give you a couple of number one picks here. Then Daniel Jones breaks the leg, and then he tears the Achilles. All right, you're signing Phillip Rivers. Are you kidding me? I mean, by the way, you know what hasn't been talked about enough? Sam Ellinger decided he didn't want to come play for the Colts. Why? You would have been. I know Denver activated him to the roster anyway, but he would have been maybe a starting quarterback this weekend.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Michael Jordan retired at the age of 30 in 1993. He missed the 93-94 season. Furthermore, he came back for 17 games in 1995 when he gave up baseball. And when I mean gave up baseball, he gave up baseball on March 18th and came back to basketball March 19th, which means no ramp up, no training camp, no nothing.
Pro Basketball Today, only on SportsGrid.
If I told you 25 years ago that you could bet $1,000 on whether or not the Miami Dolphins would go 25 years without a playoff win, that probably would have returned 10 mil, if not more.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you could do that on Kalshi right now or on Polymarket right now and pick any team you want.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Game time decisions. Ask and you shall receive. I'm going to make this very very clear to people. On Thursday, I will host Pro Football Today. I look forward to it. The holiday shows are fun. We will make the most of it. Our guy Lisi is there. But all of the bullying that the NBA is going to do over their fans about their slate versus the NFL's is so deserved, it's not even funny. And I know that our next guest is going to partake in that. Host of both College Basketball Today and Pro Basketball Today, Coach James Young. JY, look, listen, you know what? Jar, I'm going to tuck it under the table. But NFL Christmas versus NBA Christmas, what a route for the association, JY.
I don't even know who's playing on NFL on Christmas Day. Christmas on a Thursday, Wednesday. I don't even know what day it is, but I know what Thursday is. Thursday is the unofficial start of the NBA season. An NBA season which has been fantastic. And I may have to tell my at least guy, I may have to jump on and do a little basketball talk during the pregame show.
Listen, we'll put a call in. We'll see what's allowed. JY, I want to get to this slate tonight here, though, and see if there's any juice. We do have a 7 o'clock tip coming up between the Cavs and the Hornets. Is this a game that you're going to look to be getting involved with tonight? Cavs, listen, not a group playing great basketball, and a loss here would drop them to 500. Not expected, though, by the books. They're nearly double-digit favorites.
Yeah, listen, they've been a mess, and when you look at it, they've dealt with injury concerns, obviously Evan Mobley being out. The play I'm looking at Kevin at, honestly, is Con Knippel. I'm going to take Con Knippel over 3.5 assists tonight. When you look at Con Knippel, I think it's over 9 of the last 10 games. You look at Con, in fact, with other guys around that can score the ball. Teams are starting to load up on him. Secretly good passer. Cavaliers are bottom 10 in assists per game allowed to shooting guards. Give me Con Knippel over 3.5 assists tonight.
Little love there for, I would say, though, a very real Rookie of the Year candidate. Coop is the best of this bunch. I can't believe there were moments I doubted Cooper Flag. They existed, though, and I'll own that. But Coop is the guy, and you got to give him credit for that. And look, he's going to get all the credit in the world for it. We know that. JY, so then I can go now a little out of order here. Oklahoma City plays tonight off a loss. Third loss on the season, but second in their last 3 games. Any concern? Big takeaway with this team losing to Minnesota on Friday?
No, I mean, listen, they're going to have some bumps in order. Kevin, Minnesota's a good team. I mean, they are a team that, when we talk about the Western Conference and you talk about obviously OKC, we talk about Houston, obviously, we talk about the Lakers. Let's see how long Luka Doncic is out. We talk about San Antonio's won 6 straight games. I know you can't count the loss of the Knicks, but we seem to be dismissing a Minnesota Timberwolves team that when Ann Edwards is on, it's as good as anybody in the Western Conference. So, I didn't even mention Denver. So the West is going to be wild. I don't take much stock in it. All I know is that you should get a team in a bad mood tonight, even though Caruso and Chet are both out tonight for OKC, I do believe.
Yeah, so I'll say this quickly. Chet missing this game, I know that is just, one game. Chet has played 24 of 28, so this will put him at 24 or 29. I have my eyes still on Casey Wallace DPOY. Vic is coming off the bench right now in San Antonio. I'm sorry, there's no way he's meeting the game's minimum. There's just no way. And I don't know if Chet will either. Because OKC will be cautious, of course. It's a back. They haven't played in 2 days. Or it's an illness, excuse me, but I could have swore I saw it. No, it was a back. It is a back. It's not an illness. It's a back. It's a big man. It's a back, JY. You got to worry about a back. My back hurts.
Worry about a back.
I'm just saying.
You've been carrying, your back hurts. You've been carrying this network for years. So, of course your back is right.
Man.
Does that mean I can come back on the air?
My man. Look at him go. Mama, there go that man. I'll say this, JY, though. One thing for Oklahoma City. 2 of their 3 losses have been on back-to-backs. So, do I think this team's going to be anything other than the team with the best record in the NBA? No. But could health, because they're not the healthiest team in the league. We know that. I would say that losing 2 of 3, I now no longer feel like, them breaking the record is a certainty. I think they're going to be around it, right? But the perception did take a little bit of a knock. Talk to me about Denver, Utah. Big time total, 251.5. Is this a game you're getting involved with?
No, because the line is crazy and the number is crazy. If anything, you want to maybe look at the team total for the Nuggets to go over. Utah plays absolutely no defense. I'm still trying to figure out. And they're a weird team because they'll turn and they'll give you a game where they'll compete with you. Obviously, you got to look at the play of Keontae Joy being absolutely fantastic, getting you about 23, 24 points a game, stepping up. But that's a game I'll stay away from. One game that I will touch that has a high in regards to spread is I'm going to take Boston minus the points versus Indiana. I think it's up to about 12. Just look at this Boston Celtics team playing really good basketball. I do believe 7-2 against the spread in the last 9 games. The only 2 games they haven't covered, Kev, they've lost. They're not losing tonight. So I'm going to lay the points with Boston, and I'm going to go out and I'm going to take Jordan Walsh over 5.5 rebounds. He's done a really good job. Indiana shoots, I think they're lowest in the league in 3-point shooting percentage and field goal percentage defense. Not only that, they are bottom 5 and rebounds allowed per game and rebounding differential. Look at Jordan Walsh, and if you search around, you may be able to find him at plus money.
I think JY, because I know you always get your JY is actually really, really good about getting his plays in early. I think they ruled him out tonight.
Yep, he's out. Yep, and I'm early. I'm up at like 4 or 5 in the morning looking at stuff. So that's on me that I didn't look at that beforehand. But
look, it happens. I will. It is JY though. It is funny. People always preach getting to the slate early. JY really because it was just about his JY's day. JY is one of the JY will come on and be like, listen, I don't know what to tell you. I got this team at -2. I know it's 9. What? What? You got what? Sorry, what happened? You're like, I don't know. I was up at a 3:45. Then I don't know. I just thought it was the right side. So
listen, JY. Just so people understand, JY's alarm goes off at 4:45 in the morning. So by 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, I have everything picked out. Unc gets up early. You know what I'm saying? A couple of cups of coffee. I got to teach the kids, too.
JY, because I have some college questions I know I want to throw your way as well. Anything else from this NBA slate you're looking to put on the board here tonight?
Yeah, that's just about it. Being that I was up at 4:45 and Jordan Walsh is already out tonight, so I got nothing else for you guys.
Let me let people know then. I'm going to play Jalen Williams.
Dallas. I like Dallas, by the way.
Okay.
I like the Mavs.
I like Jalen Williams over 31.5 points, rebounds, and assists. With Chet out, we can take a little bit of a look of what we saw from J-Dub last season when he didn't play, where he was averaging around 25 and 5 in those games. For J-Dub, I know that would, get us to around 30, but he has the ability to then kind of explode through any category, right? Wasn't super efficient against Minnesota. We could see him get us 25 tonight. Rebounds-wise, he's been really upticking of recent. The assist number, I think, bounces back in this game. I think this could be a 25, 8, and 4 type of Jalen Williams game. We're going to be back after the break right here on SportsGrid.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all 3 Circus Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
They went all in with the Sauce Gardner trade, right? All in. Give you a couple of number 1 picks here. Then Daniel Jones breaks the leg, and then he tears the Achilles. All right, you're signing Phillip Rivers. Are you kidding me? I mean, by the way, you know what hasn't been talked about enough? Sam Ehlinger decided he didn't want to come play for the Colts. Why? You would have been. I know Denver activated him to the roster anyway, but he would have been maybe a starting quarterback this weekend.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Michael Jordan retired at the age of 30 in 1993. He missed the 93-94 season. Furthermore, he came back for 17 games in 1995 when he gave up baseball. And when I mean gave up baseball, he gave up baseball on March 18th and came back to basketball March 19th, which means no ramp up, no training camp, no nothing.
Pro Basketball Today, only on SportsGrid.
If I told you 25 years ago that you could bet $1,000 on whether or not the Miami Dolphins would go 25 years without a playoff win, that probably would have returned 10 mil, if not more.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you could do that on Kalshi right now or on Polymarket right now and pick any team you want.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Back with you right here on SportsGrid, joined by our guy, Coach James Young. JY, not just the host of Pro Basketball Today, but of course college basketball today as well. JY, I have a couple of just kind of overarching college questions to ask you, but anything on the board for you tonight? I know it's a lighter night of college hoops action.
No, light night, nothing for me. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. A pretty good matchup in the Big East. 2 teams that are playing really above expectations, and that's Villanova. JY will be in the building. Look out for some plays and stuff live from the Rock.
Oh, he's the best. He's the best. What time's that game?
7 p.m. Maybe
Yeah.
can I do it from from my seats? Can I do it from the seats? I don't know. I don't know if they'll allow that.
Folks, no, folks. This is why. All right, this is why. Because he comes on and he does this thing. He's like, oh, okay, Dave, you gonna let me on, right? And this is what would have happened if I didn't ask that question. I'd been like, hey, JY, we'll talk to you tomorrow. He'd been like, yeah, just hit me up whenever you need me, guys. And then we'd been like, yo, JY, what's up? He's like, I'm at the Seton Hall game. Obviously. What? Call me tomorrow. Oh, okay, JY. Sorry we offended you. JY, here's my question, though. Here's my question, man. The other day I was in the office. We were kicking around some of the latest market movement. They said, hey, have you seen the Cam Boozer Wooden Award price? And I had not seen it, at the time recently. I said, I don't know, 2 to 1. And I had the sign wrong. I thought it was plus 200. It was minus 200. And man, I know Cam Boozer is, I mean, look, he's special. This Duke team is very, very good. And Boozer has just had some monster games already this season. Look, he had 23, 8, and 7 in that game against Texas Tech. He's averaging 23 and 10 right now. I mean, he's leading the country in scoring. I mean, it's outrageous. It's outrageous. It does feel a little early, though, no, JY, for Boozer to already be pushing a minus price, or is this race over?
No, this is far from over, Kevin. I mean, Lendenborg and what they're doing at Michigan has been absolutely fantastic. The way they're blowing teams out. I mean, did anybody see what AJ the Bandit did over the weekend? I mean, he got the cane coming up and anointing him after games in Utah. So to me, it's far from over. Brandon Smith's going to have himself a good year. Caleb Wilson, what he's done so far for North Carolina, a North Carolina team that I thought was going to be in trouble. Philion's been good for Alabama. I think this is far from over because at the end of the day, some of these other teams. Particularly with the way some of the teams are in the Big Ten, number of ranked teams, and what they have, I think 5 or 6 at the top, I think 17 teams in the Big 12, they're actually going to get more competition and better games and more chances to go buy Boozer versus an ACC team that's really them in North Carolina, although Virginia's off to a good start, ranked top 20 in the nation.
So this is the really interesting thing. Boozer has a really clean case, right? It's early. Yaxel Lendenborg, the Michigan kind of do-it-all forward, he transferred in from UAB, who, by the way, if people remember, the opening game of the season didn't start. The second game of the season, Michigan won by 1 in overtime against Wake, and I was like, oh, Yax is done. But a lot of the Yax stuff is all tied to efficiency. They're beating teams so badly. He's not playing enough for the minutes and everything to look the way it does. I think Dybonsa is in the race. Mm-hmm. And what I think will keep him in it, I think, again, if it ended today, Duke has been better. Duke has better wins. Right? Boozer's been better, right? But because they are both freshmen, I know this might sound crazy, and maybe I'm crazy. I think the NBA perception could matter if it comes down to these guys. And I don't think in the moment, Boozer has passed Dybonsa when we talk prospect. I understand what the Wooden Award is, but the Wooden Award, by the way, became about older players for a long time before Cooper last year. We're not used to having freshmen going head-to-head for this award. If this comes down to Boozer versus Dybonsa, I'm just saying the gap is too big, JY, and it sounds like you agree.
No, I agree, but Kevin, if you look at it, just look at the stretch of games that Dybonsa is going to have to play during the year. He's got a stretch where he's got to play Texas Tech, BYU, Utah, Arizona, and Kansas in like a 1.5 week span in January. Then he's still got to play Houston. He's still got to play at Arizona. He's got to play Iowa State. And then he ends the regular season versus Texas Tech. And then there's the Big 12 tournament. So to me, Booster's going to put up the stats, but if Dibanza could be close in stats with the level of competition that he's going to see in the Big 12, plus, Kevin, he should have closer games than Duke, which would mean more minutes for Dibanza over Boozer. I think that gap is way too big. I'd take a flyer on Dibanza right now with the odds.
JY, just the other, I think, question, though, that comes with that, for BYU, those Big 12 games are going, though, to go a long way in us getting a handle on just how good this BYU team is, right? Like, right now, they're 10th in KenPom, which is really solid. They sit 11-1, but they did lose to UConn. And the strength of schedule right now for BYU, I mean, it's not awesome. It doesn't feel awesome, right? You know, they're not playing Texas Tech at the Garden, Champions Classic. I think Dibanza will meet those moments. I mean, the kid's an NBA player. But I'm not still 100% sure BYU's a true title contender. Maybe that's crazy. I don't know. Maybe you are, though.
Listen, I think they may struggle. They may be like the fourth or fifth best team in the Big 12.
Okay.
Having the fourth or fifth best team in the Big 12 could still be a top 12 team, top 15 team nationally. That's what's good about the Big 12 is those teams will be battle tested by the time they get to March.
Awesome. All right, JY, really appreciate it, man. Again, big Christmas coming up for the NBA. We're going to talk about some market movement next.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all three Circa Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
They went all in with the Sauce Gardner trade, right? All in. Give you a couple of number one picks here. Then Daniel Jones breaks the leg, and then he tears the Achilles. All right, you're signing Phillip Rivers. Are you kidding me? I mean, by the way, you know what hasn't been talked about enough? Sam Ehlinger decided he didn't want to come play for the Colts. Why? You would have been. I know Denver activated him to the roster anyway, but he would have been maybe the starting quarterback this weekend.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Michael Jordan retired at the age of 30 in 1993. He missed the 93-94 season. Furthermore, he came back for 17 games in 1995 when he gave up baseball. And when I mean gave up baseball, he gave up baseball on March 18th and came back to basketball March 19th, which means no ramp up, no training camp, no nothing.
Pro Basketball Today, only on SportsGrid.
If I told you 25 years ago that you could bet $1,000 on whether or not the Miami Dolphins would go 25 years without a playoff win, that probably would have returned 10 mil, if not more.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you could do that on Kalshi right now or on Polymarket right now and pick any team you want.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Back here on a Monday night on SportsGrid. Just a couple of updates here. As far as the live board goes, Cavs Hornets is getting underway. That's, middle first quarter. Top 25 Virginia is playing as well right now. My action from a hoops perspective, one college, one NBA, still to come. We'll re-rack best bets. We've got a really fun primetime producer parlay for the people. We'll get to all of that, but we like to kind of follow some market movement, as always, coming off of a Sunday slate. And one of the surprises, one of the out-of-nowhere I almost feel situations is the fact that the Los Angeles Chargers, due to their victory in Dallas and Jacksonville's win in Denver, I was not expecting either one of those results flatly, means the Chargers control their own destiny to win the AFC West. And I've, at times kind of said that, people talk too much about winning out in the NFL because we were doing that, in Thanksgiving, right? It's like, oh, the Cowboys are going to win out. It's like, yeah? Okay. No, right? The Cowboys haven't, have now lost 3 in a row. The Chargers have to win 2 games. We can say that it would be this team going out there and finishing the season with 6 wins in a row, and that'd be incredibly impressive. 9 of 10. That'd be incredibly impressive. Can this team win 2 in a row is the real question now for the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, when I look at it, I tend to believe the answer is no. That's how I feel. I bet Dallas on Sunday because I didn't think the Chargers would score with the Cowboys. Yeah, I gave Dallas's defense too much credit. I really did. The Chargers getting to 34, give them credit. The Cowboys offense didn't show up. It is what it is, right? But I'm not fully convinced this Chargers defense is, or this Chargers offense is now going to be able to handle a closing stretch against Houston and at Denver. And the bigger thing that works in Denver's favor is how good they've been with Sean Payton and extra rest. Since becoming the Broncos head coach, he has yet to lose following a bye week or a mini bye. And due to the Christmas schedule, Denver is going to end up with a mini bye before a home game against the Chargers. Even if that game gets bumped up to a Saturday, there's still going to be certainly a rest advantage, right? Because the Chargers play on Saturday against the Texans. Smaller rest advantage, but a rest advantage nevertheless. But we weren't supposed to be in this situation. The Denver Broncos to win the AFC West were minus 1,000. Sunday. It's Monday. 2 games later, if you will, each team's respective result, and it's been flipped on its head. But I believe that graphic, that movement that you see, I feel as if it represents how crazy the AFC feels right now and how little level footing anybody in this conference is actually on. The Denver Broncos are your favorites to win the conference. And if they are the 1 seed, in this moment, I very much so could see myself picking them to then win the AFC. Doesn't mean I'd put a future on them, but, we fill out brackets. We'll bet around those results potentially. If they're the 1 seed, that jumps out. If Denver gets caught by the Chargers, they have no chance to make it out of the AFC. The wild card grouping, okay? Like teams that can get on a run as a wild card in this year's AFC feels like a list of 1 in Buffalo. And that's just Josh Allen, pedigree, respect. Nobody's betting Bo Nix or Stroud or Herbert or Drake May or Trevor Lawrence to go as a wild card team to the Super Bowl. Last quarterback to do that is Tom Brady. So it's just remarkable how big a swing we see all of a sudden now within this AFC West and then AFC as a whole. We're going to go back to the college game after the break right here on SportsGrid.
football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all three Circa Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
They went all in with the Sauce Gardner trade, right? All in. Give you a couple of number one picks here. Then Daniel Jones breaks the leg, and then he tears the Achilles. All right, you're signing Phillip Rivers. Are you kidding me? I mean, by the way, you know what hasn't been talked about enough? Sam Ellinger decided he didn't want to come play for the Colts. Why? You would have been. I know Denver activated him to the roster anyway, but he would have been maybe the starting quarterback this weekend.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Michael Jordan retired at the age of 30 in 1993. He missed the 93-94 season. Furthermore, he came back for 17 games in 1995 when he gave up baseball. And when I mean gave up baseball, he gave up baseball on March 18th and came back to basketball March 19th, which means no ramp up, no training camp, no nothing.
Pro Basketball Today, only on SportsGrid.
If I told you 25 years ago that you could bet $1,000 on whether or not the Miami Dolphins would go 25 years without a playoff win, that probably would have returned 10 mil, if not more. Yeah. Like if you could do that on Kalshi right now or on Polymarket right now and pick any team you want.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Live on SportsGrid, we, of course, got Monday Night Football to get to. We'll continue to talk San Francisco and Indianapolis in just a moment. But one of the sports stories that kind of hangs over the sports world right now is the Michigan head coach search. And to help us try and get any insight into this situation is Anthony Broom, who does an excellent job covering the Wolverines for On3. You can find him on Twitter at Anthony T. Broom. Anthony, we appreciate you making some time during a very busy time, I am sure, for anybody kind of covering this program. Can you give me an idea of what these last, call it 2 weeks or so, has been for you and just your perception around everything going on with Michigan?
Yeah, I was kind of hoping I'd come on here and you guys would have ideas for me at this point. Because that's kind of where this search is at the moment. I'll put it to you this way, and I've told this story 100 times now, but the Wednesday that this all went down, December 10th, I drove into Ann Arbor to cover a toy drive for the men's basketball team. And by the end of the night, wound up driving to 2 separate jails and on the phone with the Washtenaw County Jail because all of this had gone down. So, yeah, that's kind of this in a nutshell. The visual 2 days later of Sharon Moore in a white jumpsuit is crazy. The search, it had sort of centered around Kalen DeBoer and Kenny Dillingham, and Dillingham was never offered the job. I have it on great authority that him and a lot of his people were interested in the job, never offered it. I think Michigan was kind of banking on Kalen DeBoer being available this weekend to talk to, and that didn't happen either. So now I'm not saying, there's the Hail Mary chance still there of Kalen DeBoer. Like they might throw him some ungodly offer and make him say no, which at this point I think he would. But, now we're kind of moving on to kind of covering and researching this next tier of candidates as they materialize, which those are still unclear as well.
Yeah, this is just a very bizarre situation. It's obviously not one that Michigan thought they were going to be in, so that adds to it. Before we start to list candidates, what I'm trying to get a sense of is how much urgency Michigan believes they have with the portal looming. I am sure for Michigan, they'd love to take all their time because you want to get this hire right. But the portal waits for no one. And Michigan has, one of the most expensive quarterbacks in the country. And I'm sure Michigan faithful have no time for Bryce asking for more money. But the circumstances could certainly lead to some conversation. Do you have any sense of when they want this settled?
Well, the reporting from the start has been that they would like to have this in place by the time the portal opens. We got really our first public tangible comment on it. We spoke to the interim head coach, Biff Poggi, on a couple hours ago, actually, who said that Ward Manuel spoke to the team, the athletic director spoke to the team on Monday, and said that they're hoping to have something done between Christmas and the bowl game, which is New Year's Eve, 3 p.m., when they go down to Orlando, play the Citrus Bowl against Texas. So you hedge with saying that's when they hope to have something in place. Now, if you're waiting on a Kalen DeBoer, and the only reason to wait, to be frank with you, is if you have reason to believe there is tangible interest there. Obviously, he plays a game with Alabama on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day at the Rose Bowl. So they win that game. All of a sudden, he's not available for, I think, another 10 days or another 8 or 9 days. So,
can I ask you, Anthony, about DeBoer a little more specifically? Did he not put out a statement that he didn't want another job that seemingly nobody cared about? I don't understand that whole thing.
Well, no one cared about it because these statements aren't worth the paper. They're not written on paper. They're all graphics now and press conferences. So often they're not worth anything. I mean, these coaching cycles are day to day, hour to hour. And I say this coming from the background of, I felt like for 3 years, it was Michigan and Jim Harbaugh are working on an extension. They're working on this. They're working on that. They intend to do this. He intends to sign that. And the fact of the matter is that, Dillingham to a lesser extent now, because it seems like they just straight up aren't interested in him. But until you put pen to paper on anything, and I know Alabama's been working on a new deal for DeBoer, nothing is set in stone. And whether it's playing the game of the leverage game or whether you're actually a candidate, that's why I really don't take any of those public statements seriously until, we start seeing the FOIA stuff come back where we actually see what the details of all these contract extensions are.
So looking right now, and I don't know how much weight you put into this. I'm actually really curious. But the prediction markets, which, I feel like they really thrive when it comes to stuff like this, right now has Kyle Whittingham out in front. For me, I don't know, that doesn't feel like a slam dunk. A guy who, when he announced he was no longer going to be at Utah, everybody was like, oh, that's nice, he's retiring. He had a good run. Just all of a sudden becoming the Michigan coach. Jeff Brom is, the next guy we see. Do either of those two feel like real possibilities to you?
I think they are. The thing I'll say about the prediction markets, and I'll be honest, I don't know enough about them yet. I know they're a lot more accurate when it comes to politics and elections and things like that. With some of the reporting that our guy at our site, Chris Ballas, has done, namely with Dillingham interest, DeBoer interest, or DeBoer as a candidate, a lot of the reporting is informing the prediction markets. And certainly the Vegas odds and stuff too. So I don't put a whole lot of stock into it because these things do fluctuate. As of Friday night, Kalen DeBoer and Alabama go down to Oklahoma and win. You're probably sitting there, and I don't know what the prediction market said there, but you're probably like, all right, well, Kenny Dillingham's the favorite now. And then before I even had my coffee on Saturday, he had signed a contract extension with Arizona State. So it's all, I think when it comes to coaching searches, because there's not, you have the exit polls and politics, and you have all this, there's a lot more data available where a lot of this stuff is more done behind the scenes. So there's just not nearly as much info to go off of.
Yeah, and I think what I would say, when you see a thing like this, when everybody's 25% or less, it does show they don't know, and they're just going to move off of a couple of clicks and a couple of reports. As you said, there is no real strong insight or candidate seemingly. Do you have a sense right now, though, on the Bryce Underwood? Maybe there's nothing going on. Maybe Bryce is just going to be the Michigan quarterback. There's nothing to see here, but we're talking portal. Everybody knows he's got a lot of money to be the quarterback this past season at Michigan. Is this a thing people are thinking about in Ann Arbor?
It's a consideration. And I think with how loaded the quarterback market looks like it is already, I think the decision on whether he stays or goes is the pivot point kind of decision that is going to have ramifications on the rest of this market, because you could take your 1 year stopgap if you're a program like an Oregon, or, Bryce Underwood is a 3-year guy now, or a 2-year guy if you believe he's going to go to the NFL. So I just say, I think that whatever hire they make, unless it's a complete disaster, which is always a possibility, I think Michigan's going to have a pretty decent shot at retaining him.
Okay.
And a lot of the other guys that they have as well, namely a 5-star recruit in Savion Hyder, who they've signed in this class, the running back. I think the collective is pretty confident that I think these guys just want to know who their coach is going to be. We haven't seen the max exodus yet. We haven't seen bowl opt-outs. We haven't seen a ton of signees. So right now, I think everything's just in a holding pattern. But, all these guys are going to have to get on a plane on Friday to head down to the bowl game. And I think we're going to have a little bit better of an idea by the end of this week who's got 1 foot in or not.
Yeah. And also it is clearly the Kalen DeBoer stuff isn't going to go away until he's either the Michigan coach or they make someone else their coach. So it's all going to be really interesting to follow. If we had more time, I'd go from an easy subject to a hard one, because I see the Tigers hat. We could just do a little Tariq Skubal, but we'll leave that for another time. Anthony Broom, great stuff. We'll be right back here for some more Monday Night Football next.
Thank you, guys.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all 3 Circa Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
They went all in with the Sauce Gardner trade, right? All in. Give you a couple of number 1 picks here. Then Daniel Jones breaks the leg. And then he tears the Achilles. All right? You're signing Phillip Rivers. Are you kidding me? I mean, by the way, you know what hasn't been talked about enough? Sam Ellinger decided he didn't want to come play for the Colts. Why? You would have been. I know Denver activated him to the roster anyway, but he would have been maybe the starting quarterback this weekend.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Michael Jordan retired at the age of 30 in 1993. He missed the 93-94 season. Furthermore, he came back for 17 games in 1995 when he gave up baseball. And when I mean gave up baseball, he gave up baseball on March 18th and came back to basketball March 19th, which means no ramp up, no training camp, no nothing.
Pro Basketball Today, only on SportsGrid.
If I told you 25 years ago that you could bet $1,000 on whether or not the Miami Dolphins would go 25 years without a playoff win, that probably would have returned 10 mil, if not more.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you could do that on Kalshi right now or on Polymarket right now and pick any team you want.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Back right here on SportsGrid. Really great stuff, just kind of talking to Anthony Broom around everything with the Michigan Wolverines and, what's going on with that program. It's crazy to think, there's a lot of people who believe if they beat Ohio State, this might have played out differently, which is a shame that that's kind of the thought. But we're here, and one of the biggest programs in the country just doesn't know who their coach is going to be. And it was really it was really good to talk to him because you can see that the DeBoer stuff isn't a product of crazy Michigan fans. It's guys like Anthony who know their stuff. They're just reporting. Like, there's a reason that Michigan has not given up on DeBoer. Flatly. So there's no reason for the reporting to suggest otherwise, despite this statement. It's just going to be a really, really interesting situation to follow. We know DeBoer's next game is going to be against Indiana and Fernando Mendoza. Fernando Mendoza, supposed to be the number 1 overall pick. You could argue Mendoza will find out or has a chance to find out where he is going this coming Sunday. Giants-Raiders battle for the number 1 pick in Vegas. The 2-13 football teams winner will have a huge inside track towards selecting first overall. It gets really interesting if the Giants end up with that pick. I think there's a very small chance that they take a quarterback, but I don't think it's a 0% chance. That's not me being out on Dart at all. I would say it's a 0% chance if they didn't fire Dable. Dable wouldn't give up on Dart. Joe Shane, I don't know. Some people maybe think Shane will get fired. I don't know. I'm just saying it's not a 0% chance. Everyone will say, well, then the Giants are going to trade the pick. Again, we'll see. It's always easier said than done. Probably. Because I don't think there's a guy right now for the Giants to draft at 1. There's no, last year's Abdul Carter even, right? Or Travis Hunter. Yeah, heck, you want to go, there's just no one perception-wise non-quarterback where it's like, oh, you cannot miss. That's not Arvell Reese, right? We'll see who the first tackle is, Caden Proctor, Spencer Fano out of Utah. But it just, everyone's going to be like, all right, well, someone else is going to take the pick. Who? Vegas themselves, the Browns, Jets, Cardinals. And maybe these all teams are expected to be selecting in the top 5 right now. 2 teams tonight that will not be drafting in the top 5. It's the Colts. That's the Niners. It's a 4.5-point number. Let's get your recent movement here. Down to 4 in some spots, which is, it is a little tempting on San Francisco. I think the thing is Phillip Rivers was not as good as the conversation would lead you to believe last week, but that's because Phillip Rivers was being graded on a curve, which is fine. He's a 45-year-old who was coming back for the first time in a long time. Okay? That's fine. But it sounded like, oh, he was great. He gave him a chance to win. They scored 16 points, right? The Seahawks just played another mess of a game. That's all, right? So I think the Colts are being given too much credit. What I think maybe the books and Colts backers are looking for is Rivers just being much better in this game. Shake off a little bit of the cobwebs and just get into a rhythm. But those props don't scream, oh, Rivers is going to be feeling great. To me, the Colts offense isn't designed for the quarterback to throw for 160 yards. That's not what Daniel Jones was doing. Daniel Jones threw for over 200 yards in every game except for one. Daniel Jones was a 250, 270 a game guy when the Colts offense was ripping it early season. I think that fact, and I'm sure the way Rivers wants to play would make just alting his yardage enticing. Like, I think there's a reasonable case to be made, especially if you're not in the hole and you were alting Rivers up in week 15, that you just play it the last 3 games of the season. And you're like, eventually he'll get in a rhythm and just let it go. I think that that's interesting. Here's the other interesting thing with just the Rivers of it all. So Daniel Jones tears his Achilles. I don't think we're expecting Daniel Jones to be under center for week number 1 for the Indianapolis Colts. Is Phillip Rivers going to be the week 1 starter for the Colts? Or is he just going to go back into retirement? I mean, I think the idea is he's going to retire. But how much money will Indianapolis be putting towards the quarterback position if they're going to wait for Daniel Jones? The Anthony Richardson thing feels like a distant memory, right? Daniel Jones is a free agent. Is it on the board the Colts just don't sign Daniel Jones? Then who signs Daniel Jones? Like, I wouldn't say Daniel Jones is... Did Daniel Jones go from an in-season, oh my gosh, they're going to make him his franchise quarterback, to an injury that all of a sudden ended his career? Like, is Daniel Jones going to have to fight and scratch to get another starting job? If Daniel Jones isn't the Colts quarterback next year, nobody else is going to make him. They're like, we plan for him to be our guy, right? That's kind of a nightmare. Good thing the Colts have their first. Oh, yikes! That's all right. That's all right. Surely Sauce will get a pick. All right.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all 3 Circa Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
They went all in with the Sauce Gardner trade, right? All in. Give you a couple of number 1 picks here. Then Daniel Jones breaks the leg, and then he tears the Achilles. All right, you're signing Phillip Rivers. Are you kidding me? I mean, by the way, you know what hasn't been talked about enough? Sam Ellinger decided he didn't want to come play for the Colts. Why? You would have been. I know Denver activated him to the roster anyway, but he would have been maybe a starting quarterback this weekend.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Michael Jordan retired at the age of 30 in 1993. He missed the 93-94 season. Furthermore, he came back for 17 games in 1995 when he gave up baseball. And when I mean gave up baseball, he gave up baseball on March 18th and came back to basketball March 19th, which means no ramp up, no training camp, no nothing.
Pro Basketball Today, only on SportsGrid.
If I told you 25 years ago that you could bet $1,000 on whether or not the Miami Dolphins would go 25 years without a playoff win, that probably would have returned 10 mil, if not more.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you could do that on Kalshi right now or on Polymarket right now and pick any team you want.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
All right, let's set it up for you. We're going to start Primetime Producer Parlay. In-game live tonight, of course, will be focused Colts-Niners. Our tandem in the back, our boy AJ's headed back home to Chicago. And when I'm back in Chicago, right. All right, touchdown special, Kittle, Tyler Warren. Look at this. I know Lisi brought him presents. I didn't know he also gave him the Primetime Producer Parlay. Cut it out with this thing here. Where's Evan Ingram? Slap him onto that parlay. Why not? You got to be kidding me, dude. I can't believe I still can't get over it. If you missed Pro Football Today's recap show earlier today, Lisi has bet Evan Ingram for like 40 and a touchdown every week. This guy has 1 touchdown this year and I think like 3 40-yard games. I mean, he comes in. He's the best. I love him. I was close, man. Close. 9K. I was close. You believe this? Kyle Pitts last leg. I took him out. Tyler Algier. He swaps out a tight end for a backup running back. Only the beautiful mind of Joe Lisi. I've got 4 picks tonight, all right? In the NBA, okay, 2 games are live right now. Cavs-Hornets close early. High-scoring game as anticipated. Donovan Mitchell, Lonzo Ball trading back and forth. Lonzo with 12 early. Donovan Mitchell with 13. Pacers up on the Celts. Pels Mavs starts at 8. I know JY said he liked Dallas. Big time total. Denver, Utah. Jokic props are out of whack. 251.5 total. That's what you kind of anticipate there. Late night, Golden State, they host Orlando. Blazers, they host the Detroit Pistons. I'm right there in the middle. Thunder Grizzlies, give me Jalen Williams over 31.5 points, rebounds, and assists. No Chet Holmgren. No Alex Caruso. Thunder off a loss. Grizzlies can, of course, be had. Nobody on that team's guarding J-Dub. I think it could be a 25, 8-4 kind of game where he blasts through any and all categories there, but I think he hits home on 2 of 3. We bring them together, kind of combine it all for Jalen Williams over points, rebounds, and assists. College basketball, 1 ranked game. During our show, it finished up. A dominant win for Virginia. This group's good right now. They just won 95-51 against American to move to 11-1 on the season. Earlier today, Georgia beat West Georgia by 29. You've got some good teams in action. Dybonson, BYU play Eastern Washington. The number 1 team in the country, Arizona, is at home against Bethune-Cookman. I'm going to play Kansas and Davidson. Still no Darren Peterson, no problem for me. I like over in this game. Lines working towards Davidson. I'm happy to play over 138.5. This number's on the climb. That's fine. I think this game can get into the 150s. Kansas just played a bang under where they held Townsend under 50 points. Townsend is not as good as Davidson offensively, and they're slower. We're getting the same total. Love the spot here, over points. Kansas, Davidson, that's where we're at college basketball-wise. You do have Illinois, Missouri, and North Carolina, East Carolina tipping off in about 5 minutes, probably even less than that, all in all. And then the NFL tonight. It's Colts, it's Niners, it's McCaffrey, Jonathan Taylor. In the back, they're back in McCaffrey. I love it. 100 receiving, rushing and receiving for Yarnelli, minus 140. Shopping down the juice aisle. That's all right. Chris, Niners money line, McCaffrey anytime touchdown. He walked into the parlay store. They said, you again? Look at him, plus 106. Plus 106 for Chris. He said he was dying to add a Brock Purdy 2+ in there. Pump it up. You know Chris has, what? How many under the hats? 3, 4? Tonight, he's got to have a couple. Yeah. I'm on McCaffrey over receiving yards, and I'm on Jonathan Taylor over receiving yards. I know it's a little zaggy, right? Running backs were taking him through the air, but I think it just sets up really, really well. The McCaffrey is a simple bounce back, okay? CMC last week had 1 catch on 1 target. Christian McCaffrey's been targeted 108 times this season. His next fewest targets on the year was 4, and then after that was 6. So this is just a CMC spot for me against a Colts team that should not really have much of an answer to stop him. Plus, maybe DeForest Buckner back, a little more throwing, right, to CMC than running. Jonathan Taylor last week had 3 catches for 14 yards against the Seattle Seahawks. That's really good in terms of reception work, target work, not explosive. He's more explosive than that. I get 3 grabs. I'm going to feel great about getting over 19.5. But if the Niners look great and the Colts are playing from behind, that's a check down situation. Jonathan Taylor could all of a sudden then 5, 6, 8 receptions, and this could get out of hand. So Taylor, to me, is the most tempting, I think, ladder option of the spot here tonight, and that's something I'm going to look to get involved with as well, over the 19.5 receiving yards. That'll do it for Game Time Decisions. I will see you Christmas right back here on SportsGrid. In-Game Live is next.